Hello, everyone. I just want to say we were so excited and at the same time very nervous. So everyone, hello. We are really happy to be here speaking to two emerging designers and creative talents today. They have been in business for more than a decade, both of you. So let me introduce first, we have SHUSHU, the creative director and co-founder of the brand SHUSHU TONG. And then we have Kwok, representing Hong Kong and also the creative director and founder of KWK by Kwok. So I know that starting up a business is never easy, but staying relevant and also, being able to sustain their business is even more difficult. So let's start with something about talking about the retail business and retail business model to SHUSHU. I know you started with more like a traditional kind of path when you do wholesale and you work with international wholesale accounts. And then you move on to Tmall when you started in 2019. And then 3 years ago, you launched your own mono stores. Right. So can you share what is the business proportion of e-commerce and brick-and-mortar stores business to you nowadays? Like after all the post-COVID, how is it working for you?
You mean the e-commerce for my retail,
Yes.
like direct selling? So
Yes.
I think it will like contribute like 30% in the end. So it's super important, especially in the at the beginning, like it's the cheapest way for a designer to have their own channel, and you can present the full collection, and you can test the product, and you will see the direct feedback from the client, and especially like in China, we'll do like fast, reorder things, so like you don't have to produce everything in the beginning, so you will see the feedback from the market and then you move on, and so I think the online business is super important for me. Yeah.
So what about the brick and mortar store, the mono store business for you?
So now the mono store is growing, and we have 3 mono stores in China at the moment, and yeah, it's also becoming quite important compared to my wholesale business. Yeah.
Why did you start with the mono store at the beginning?
I think that's, as you said before, it's quite traditional because, like, I think for every brand, if you want to have a brand like long enough, you eventually need to have your own channel. Yeah. So mono store is definitely one of them.
Okay, great. So a question for Kay. You have a completely different path in launching your brand. You started with a commercial collection, and then you move on to stage costume, and then now you do like really custom design. So what makes you have that shift of business line?
Well, I mean, the biggest fear for me in retail is about constant commercial compromise. I remember 13 years ago when I was lucky enough to be sponsored by GQ magazine for London Fashion Week show, and later Joyce Boutique stock my design, machine A, etc. I was naturally pushed into retail environment, but then very quickly, it's actually not very quickly, like 4 years later, I realized that I hate doing that because of the boring, showroom process and, buyers' feedbacks and lots of deadlines, etc. So I gradually shift my brands into costume design. So by working with celebrity and private customers, I really enjoy it because I got a chance to communicate with human clients more detailedly. So I mean, that really fits my design philosophy.
But during this shift, did you really change the core values or even the brand DNA if you need to, tackle a very completely different customer base?
I don't think so because, DNA is one of the very essential elements for the brand. So like myself, I love like futurism, like design thinking, like digital thinking, design, technology things. So I basically merged this idea into different areas, like when I do like commercial design, for celebrity as well. So basically, the DNA hasn't changed since day one.
Okay, got it. And what about, I know that you don't do wholesale, but to you, because, SHUSHU, TONG, and a lot of designers, they're doing wholesale. So do you think having a wholesale network it's important for a brand's success, even it's not good for you in general?
I mean, it depends on what kind of brand you want to develop. Of course, typical wholesale networks gives brands more exposure, and the recognition will be very fast because brands will introduce your design to their clients, medias, etc. But when it comes to brand like mine, like for thinking forward brand design, and also digital visually design, I don't think typical retail wholesale network benefit for me. So I would go for the other ways, because now we live in a very new century. There is lots of ways to do your own brand. So I'd rather to think about the other ways to attract my community, to build my community, instead of just sticking with the traditional way.
Mm-hmm. And I completely agree. I think every designer, they have their own path, so they can do whatever they want. And for SHUSHU, do you think after launching your retail stores, do you think you will still expand your wholesale business?
Yeah, for sure. Because I think now my business rely more on the retail business, but the wholesale I will consider it as a marketing place, with a good store and with all the good designer to sit beside you, and so it's a very good way to promote and marketing your brand.
I hear you saying that the brand adjacency is really important for you as an emerging brand. And what about when you're in a shopping mall, like when you look for your mono store, do you think it's important to sit with someone like really high-end, or how would you position yourself in the shopping mall?
I think the positioning is very important, especially for new clients. Like the first impression is super heavy and important, and if you don't know my brand and you walk into the mall and you see me sit beside with big names, I think it definitely helps. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think both we're having a very good Asian designers here today, and then I know that you're also tackling the international market as well. So for Kay, you have a multi-identity for yourself because you're from Hong Kong, and you spend a lot of time in London, and you're also in Shanghai. So how does that help you in speaking to your international customers?
Well, I mean, for my own brand, I need to, focus on my DNA development, so that once I have a strong identity, like brand DNA, it's easily to form, community. The difference is that, different religion people, they react my DNAs differently. Like people in China, they react more in my, digital content.
Yes.
And for overseas people, we add more, respond more on my storytelling, originality, design, etc.
Okay. And what about SHUSHU? So you have this network of mono store. So do you think the domestic network will help you in talking to the international customers as well? Like showing them, well, I have a lot of mono stores and what kind of brand I am?
For instance, we have a store in Shanghai, super popular with Koreans. So I think it's definitely, when people are interested in your brand and they travel to Shanghai, and there were opportunity for them to see the full collection. Otherwise, it's so difficult for a designer to present their full collection. And also, I mean, the good thing about having a mono store is I get the chance to produce everything. So I'm not that, rely on the wholesalers. Sometimes, you guys know, the selection will be very safe.
Very specific as well.
For special color, like green, orange, nobody want to try. But I mean, we get to try this special stuff in our own store, and so it kind of give me more opportunities to expand especially for the design. Yeah.
I
more
think
freedom.
that's a very interesting point because as a buyer before, we always do very specific design, specific selection for specific store. But having the mono store, definitely you can try a lot of things, and then maybe that will expand your customer base as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So do you see the difference between having your own store and having someone to buy your stuff? I mean, to design wise.
Yeah, it's very different. I remember 3, 4, or 5 years ago, there were buyers telling me green, the color green is a killing color. Nobody gonna buy that. Yeah. But
it's not an easy color, I have to say.
Yeah, but now I have so many greens in my
Yes,
collection,
yes,
and
I know.
I tested. But I mean, in the meantime, I have the green collection. I also have my usual
Gray
gray
and navy
navy.
collection.
Yeah, but so I the wholesale people, they will buy from their collection, but I will try my other collection. Yeah.
I think that's a good way for himself to try out a lot of things as well. So we come to the next topic because I see we don't have a lot of time, which is really important for everyone because you two work amazing with celebrities. I think a lot of people would love to know, how did you do that? So for Asian designers, when you're working with especially global, international celebrities, what challenges do you have? Kay first.
Well, I mean, nowadays we live in a very globalized world. So basically, there's no East versus West, but then I mean, it's more like a personal or a preference from the celebrity. So for Western people in general, they like to wear essential design, showing more skins, but then yeah, but then for Chinese people and people in China is more conservative. Yeah, but then the celebrity always comes to KWK for our very bold design. So in this area, we don't really face so much difference. Yeah.
I see. So what about SHUSHU? For your celebrities, you have a lot of bigger fans in Korea. So are they very similar to what you have perceived in mind that they would love or they would love to wear?
I think the challenge, I mean, check the email every day and reply as soon as possible because a lot of celebrities, they based in LA and I don't know why, they just think your clothes will deliver next day.
Very interesting point.
Yeah, because I don't do costumes, so it's kind of easy for me. You post your work on Instagram and they see it and they want it, but you need to have enough time to communicate with them. Yeah.
Okay. I have a very, very personal question for you. Okay. How did Beyonce come to you?
Wow, it's just a very unforgettable moment. I remember that after second season of our comeback in 2022, and one day when me and my team in Paris, we received an email saying that Beyonce gonna invite us to design costume for her concert tour, and we were so exciting. And since then we started to do that, and then it was quite interesting that even their team want to invite our team to go to LA to to do the measurement taking things like this, but then we refuse because we are a digital related brand, and we suggest that okay, we can create the digital figure that is the same size with Beyonce, and then we can do the design on it, and then we can send a picture of it, and then they agreed it, and then that's how we start.
So you said no to Beyonce. Actually.
Because we want to save time, because we need to a new century, right?
Yes, I completely agree with you. But after having that moment, like when Beyonce or Jennie wore your pieces, how did you manage to capitalize that moment or to help with your brand positioning?
Well, we don't just post the image, of course. We want to take this very good opportunity to communicate with our own audience by collaborate with media like like last time when we do Beyonce project, we collaborate with the English magazine ID, producing a short video from the theme, the design from the 3D software object production to the actual 3D printing production, sanding the object, plating, doing chrome, color, etc. So it is a good opportunity to have more content to communicate with our audience.
What about SHUSHU?
I just post a picture. So I mean, in the end, it's just one picture and one celebrity, and she's not.
It's also okay. I mean, this is this is a different way to communicate with your own audience, well. But then I prefer to have more content, interesting content, like behind-the-scene video for my audience.
I mean, because it's
Maybe
she's
you
not
have
your brand
too many
ambassador.
contents to post, so you don't.
This is a funny question. I mean, this is a funny answer. Also, like, how did you amend anything, like direction-wise or stylistic-wise, when there's a celebrity come to you because you really want to work with her? So you sort of like manage to change whatever she wants, and not staying being yourself. Did you have that moment? SHUSHU.
No. I think we talked about this like for other panel as well. Being authentic is very important. I mean, when you design and you don't really into this stuff, I mean, the design, like the outcome won't be nice, and they won't like it anyway. Yeah, there's so many dresses to pick in the world, and why have to be you? I think being honest to yourself, being authentic, and really into your own design is really important.
I completely agree. What about Kay?
Sam, to me, just when you search my brand name and you see my design, you understand that why the celebrities come to me, and my brand doesn't need to really compromise a lot because they come for me.
Because of you.
Yeah, because of the design and the bold design, so that this case doesn't really apply to KWK.
Okay, so because we're running out of time, one last part that I would love to talk to you is about the customers nowadays. I think the needs of the customers have changed a lot because previously they just want maybe a brand, a logo, products. So do you feel that they need more nowadays? What are the changes and how you respond to it? Okay.
Well, I think nowadays the customer is more like emotional authenticity.
Yes.
Yeah, because they want more like real imagination, real identity, and then real stories, real culture stories, etc. So I don't think they need more logos. They want more real thing. Yeah.
What about SHUSHU?
I don't think logo is a bad thing. Like myself wearing my own logo as you as well. So I think nowadays, I mean, like when the customer they want to shop a brand, it's not about just the design. Sometimes sometimes people just want to have like basic stuff instead of like crazy details on the shirt, something like that. So I think because you build up the whole image of the brand, and then you spend so many time to lift this thing up, and so the logo kind of is like the representative of what it's on behalf. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but I think customers nowadays need more connection with the brand before they wear your logos.
Yeah. So the connection is the first step. Then you move to the logo.
I see. So it's more like a storytelling that you have to have before moving to the logo. Great. So I have one question for Kay. So if you have any other questions, please scan the QR code and then we can ask the panel later on. But there's one particular question for Kay, because you're doing a lot of like 3D printings and futuristic materials. How do you source and train this specific talent? So who can run all these processes? Do you do that on your own?
What do you mean? Do I wear 3D
No.
printed design?
How did you produce them? Who you find like specific technicians to do all these 3D printings, and how did you manage to train people doing that for you?
Yeah, definitely. It's a very long way to develop the smooth development, because this is a very new technology. Not very new, but when it requires very detailedly made, then we need to train very, many factories, like plating factory, printing factory, sanding factory, etc. We need to source so many very, up to standard factory. So it spent like nearly a year for me to have a very perfect, satisfactory factories.
Because we're talking about factories, so one last question for SHUSHU, because I think before we have this panel, I was talking to you regarding the supply chain, which is like the key word for China market right now when you're working in a fashion label. So why do you feel supply chain is so important for an established or emerging brand?
Well, we make clothes, so it contains a lot of product. Part of the the clothes. You have buttons, you have fabric, you have people to make it. I mean, to solidate your own supply chain is, I think, the number one important thing, and the number two important thing for your design. The number one will be your design. Yeah, but if you don't, I see some, there's some cases before. I can't say the name, but like some emergent designer, but they're really bad about the production, and it's really creating problems for guys like you, and they won't deliver in time, and the sales through is bad because of that, or the quality is bad. So you cannot survive like this. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you for your insightful sharing. Thank you so much.